All right. Now I'd love to invite each of you to respond to why you are excited about State of Mind, why you have chosen to support this project, anything you want to speak to around that. So Sydney, we'll start with you. Looks like Brent is coming back.
Sure. Well, when Sarah and her colleagues kind of presented this at one of our meetings, I was very excited because we do cover so many rural areas, in addition to Great Falls and Lewis and Helena. And I kind of felt like it was a really creative way to kind of take a to kind of approach the behavioral health issues that are really impacting all of the people in a profound way. We know that at least 40% of the youth right now have a diagnosis, and we know that Montana is not doing great in terms of its ability to reach those people in substance use or an addiction or even mental health. And so this is just a really important project to find another way to get to our youth and our adults. And so when she described their what they were kind of thinking, I felt like it was just a really good opportunity to reach some of these rural areas and destigmatize, to kind of create community involvement in a different way, while providing education, of course, and getting that feedback. And so we really wanted to be a part of this because we saw it as an opportunity to hear sit and listen and watch community members and hear them as to what their needs are and how are we maybe not meeting their needs. And something that we've been exploring for a while, because our footprint has really changed. It's not the same footprint that it used to be, but we know that a lot of people aren't getting the services they need also. So that's super important to our agency. So we're just really excited about this.
Thank you. All right, Brent, hello. Can you hear us? We can't see you, we see your name. Okay, pop in, maybe we'll jump over to Amber and or Cal. If you want to respond, same question, why you support or excited by State of Mind?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So I think, State of Mind, I think that, working together since AMBF Arthur Blank Family Foundation is already funding Catalyst. It only emphasizes and strengthens that kind of work that we're doing together. So it increases collaboration and this type of funding that you're kind of already seeing and doing across the state. I also think that in rural areas, and like Sydney was saying, it's that collaboration piece and then just being able to find different avenues in how we reach different types of people in different areas. For us, rural is really our main focus. And so it is really hard to break the ice in some of those places. And so this is a really, really unique way and a unique opportunity to do that. And I was part of the Every Brilliant Thing tour that Cal did with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I spoke at our event after that, and it was the most packed I've ever seen our theater, and people loved it, and it gave people an opportunity. We had people, we did kind of like a Q&A afterward, and people were just loved being able to, locals in particular, have a voice and be able to talk about some really hard stuff that you normally would never see in some of these small towns. And so while we still do work in what I call the big seven, so I don't know how many of you are from Montana, but we have 7 big communities, bigger communities. I'm from one of them, Helena. And then there's, I think about the rest of the 40% of the state is rural Montana, or what you might call frontier. Those places just really are very different from one another. And our focus really is on those more frontier rural communities. And I just look at this as a way, I've already seen it once, and I think that this sounds like even more impressive. So I think getting people to open up and just even to talk about it is a huge win. And it will only strengthen the efforts that we're also putting in as well.
Thank you.
That.
Cal, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, what I'd love to add beyond what Amber said is I sit in a unique position, and I don't usually get to talk about this kind of stuff in my daily work now, and but I have a long history with as a theater professional, and I've worked in around the world in the theater. And what I can tell you that some of the other perspectives may not be able to share is that you are blessed to be sitting amongst two world-class theater makers. Michael Rhodes and Sarah Butts are two of the finest theater makers that you will find anywhere in the world working today. And we're very, very fortunate to have them in Montana. And it makes a difference. And why it makes a difference is when you send people out on the road, when you're taking theater to communities across the state, you are going to encounter all kinds of people who have never experienced this before. Theater, when it's good, I think can be very, very powerful. But theater, when it's great, can be transformative. And you are very, very fortunate to have great theater makers here sitting with you. I've gotten to work with Sarah numerous times in my capacity as the managing director of Grand Street Theater. Over the past decade, I've worked with Sarah on a lot of projects that she's directed. And prior to that, I had the good fortune to encounter disciples of Michael Rhodes in various communities, from the Oregon Shakespeare Festival in Seattle, in Ohio, places where I've worked, where people speak of his work in hushed tones. And the kinds of theater that he makes is really, truly exceptional. So what I can tell you is this will be remarkable. It will have a massive impact. It will go across the state, and people will be transformed by the work that gets done. And the reason that that's important is that is exactly what Montana needs right now, is transformation. We have a lot of barriers and a lot of reasons why we rank so high in suicidality, and a lot of reasons why rural Montana in particular is very difficult place to get much of this kind of conversation started. But this is exactly the right framing. The way that they're going about it is very thoughtful and deliberate, and I think it will be highly successful. And as catalysts for change, I think we stand to be beneficiaries of partnering with them. And I liken them to Johnny Appleseed going along and planting little orchards, and hopefully coming along in their wake, catalysts can be helpful in tending to some of those beautiful trees that they're starting to plant. So really, I couldn't be more excited about this project. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Maria, if you'd like to share why you're excited, why you support State of Mind.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we would be excited if you guys were just bringing a theater production through, kind of addressing these topics, but getting to speak with you and learning more about the structure that you're also, the framework you're developing around it in every community that you go to. I just think it's such a sound way to really go about it and make it meaningful, really bringing in the youth voice, which is so needed, and just greater community members that maybe don't get a chance to kind of live in this world within this topic that all of us here on the call today, live in. And so I just think without a doubt, like, this is going to be incredible. And, it's happening everywhere, but I know Livingston is really struggling with this epidemic of loneliness and isolation, and that's across the entire spectrum in all ages. And so any activities that we can provide, we never know what's really going to grab somebody, what's going to be important, and really establish that connection and that social connection that they really need as an antidote to that loneliness. So this is just, honestly, I think the coolest project I've seen come across in a long time. So we are so excited to be a part of it.